everybody in Intensity Broadcasting. My name's Josh Hall. This is the Shoney's Doghouse Racing League Tuesday night racing series here on iRacing from Auto Club Speedway as we get ready for the Shoney's 110, and it's going to be a great one. We saw some great racing here at Auto Club on Sunday night in the SimWrap Market Xfinity Series. We're looking for the same tonight. We've seen drivers in these Xfinity cars be able to go 3, 4, 5, 6 wide at times. And I expect to see much of the same here tonight. We see at the top of the leaderboard, no surprise, the 91 of Jonathan Jennings. Not just at the top of the leaderboard on the speed charts here, but on top of the points as well. As we take a look at our points coming into tonight, and you see Jonathan Jennings up at the top of the leaderboard. Michael Hayes sits back in second. Chris Leftwich back in third. Justin McMahon and Andrew Lucas, your top 5. Kevin Brown up in 6th. Steve Gerber 7th. Lucas Edwards, Jonathan Smith, and Richard Leclerc round out your top 10. I'll leave this on the screen so you can see where your favorite driver is in the points. Again, as we get ready to do 55 laps here around Auto Club Speedway. And we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitch, or over on Kick. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. See Hunter Simpson currently the second quickest here on the speed charts. And unlike Michigan, we're going to see drivers kind of running all over the track here tonight. I know my league ran Auto Club Speedway in the next-gen cars a couple nights ago. And I found all my success was right up against that wall. But it's going to be a fine line whether you're right up against that wall or getting into that wall. We'll see where Jonathan Jennings. You see Jennings currently running the low side of the track. And you got to be able to get set up down there in order to run down there, because not everybody's going to be able to make their car work down on the low side, where you might see a lot of other drivers kind of riding the high side right up against that wall. Or they can run middle of the track. This is a track where there are multiple grooves. And it would not be surprising to see 2, 3, 4, 5, or even 6 wide racing through the corners. We see the 11th quickest driver right now, just making his way back onto the racetrack. That is the 24 of Justin McMahon. As we got just under a minute left here in practice before we get qualifying underway. Again, this is the Shoney's 110 here from Auto Club Speedway on iRacing. We want to thank everybody for joining us. As we know, Doghouse Racing League has a few other partners as well. I want to thank all those partners right there in the bottom left-hand corner. Shoney's, Group 6, Simpson Racing Designs, and Fanatic. We'll talk more about them as the night goes on. Of course, some of our great partners as well, including our web store at Intensity Broadcasting and Appearal. Race EPI for all your iRacing coaching and setup needs, as well as the butt kicker. And we'll talk about them a little bit later as well, as we have the checker flag falling here in practice. And we get ready to get qualifying underway. Of course, the Tuesday night Shoney's Racing Lead is proud to be sponsored by Shoney's. Shoney's open daily for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Stop by one of their West Virginia locations and try their freshly prepared breakfast bar and take home a whole strawberry pie. Shoney's, delicious food and friendly service since 1947. We'll see who our first drivers are to make their way out onto the racetrack. Looks like our first driver that's going to be putting down a time is going to be, looks like Christopher Simon coming down the backstretch. Making his way into turn number 3. He gets a little loose there off the corner, able to hold on to it though. That's tough to do, especially here as slick as this track can be. We'll take a look here at the weather. We see 69 degrees air temperature, almost 70 degrees on the track. So even though it's a nice cool track, Still not a lot of grip out there. These drivers are really trying to push it as hard as they can. Another driver that just took the green flag, that would be the 6 of Chris Jennings. And we see the 92 of Cameron King drifting it. See that dirt car in his picture there. He looked like he was driving that right there through turns 1 and 2. Jim Willis also on his flyer lap right now on his first lap. Coming down the backstretch in the 202 machine as Hunter Simpson puts up the first time of the night. He's going to jump to the top of the leaderboard. Chris Jennings up in second. Christopher Simon, Lucas Edwards, and Mike Dow currently your top 5 on the speed charts, as we see Chris Leftwich sneak in there into the 3rd position, and Gary Armillo back in the 6th position currently. Justin Remand jumps up into the 3rd spot on that lap. As you see Gary Armillo in that Tonka machine making his way down the backstretch towards turn number 3, and Hunter Simpson's going to come across the start-finish line. And now Jonathan Jennings goes up to the top of the leaderboard on his 2nd lap by almost a whole 1/10 of a second, as now Chris Leftwich in that 2nd position. Here's Baker Knapp coming down the backstretch on his final lap. Off of turn number 4, down to the stripe. And Baker Knapp is going to go up into the 4th position. See Jeffrey Engel just making his way off of turn number 4. And that Avenged Sevenfold machine down to the stripe. And Engel is going to stay in that 26th position currently. There's Steve Gerber coming off of turn number 4. And down across the stripe he comes. We'll move up into the 8th position. Let's see here. We got Kevin Brown making his way off of turn number 4. Down across the stripe. And Kevin Brown is going to jump up into the 13th spot. And it looks like that's going to do it for all of our drivers making their way out onto the racetrack tonight. Looks like everybody's qualified except for the 55 of Ricky Hudges II. We have just a few moments left here in qualifying, just about 20 seconds. So again, I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Of course, we want to thank all of our great partners here, including Doghouse Racing League sponsors, such as Fanatics. The Doghouse Racing League is proud to partner with Fanatics. They've become an affiliate partner with Fanatics. They earn commissions when you purchase through the link, so you can use and they use these commissions to help fund the league. So check out the link down below, and any purchase made from that link, all commissions will go towards the league. Of course, you can also check out the Doghouse Racing League's webpage for all their schedule, points, standings, as well as their merch over at doghouseracingle.com. Of course, here on Intensity Broadcasting, we can't forget to thank our great partners, including the Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker is an established and well-known leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products its users feel low-frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. Check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out what's right for you. Visit thebuttkicker.com. And let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid. And starting on pole tonight will be the 91 of Jonathan Jennings with Chris Leftwich rolling off from the second position. Row 2 will be Hunter Simpson and Baker Knapp, with Chuck Cobb in the 81 rolling off 5th with Lucas Edwards to his outside in the 6th position. John Smith in the 99, he'll roll off in 7th with Michael Samia in the 8th position. Rounding out your top 10 will be the 63 of Gary Maydew and the 22 of Mike Hayes. Chris Jennings in the 6th will roll off from the 11th position with Chad Waller back in 12th. Kevin Brown in the 13th position and Mike Leftwich rolling off from 14th. Steve Gerber in the 15th position. Christopher Simon rolls off 16th. Then Jim Willis in the 202 will roll off from the 17th spot. And Andrew Lucas in the 77 back in 18th. Way back in 19th is the 24 of Justin McMahon with Nick Schell back in 20th. And 21st is the 47 of Ty Schoening with Michael Dow in the 50, rolling off from 22nd. 23rd is the 7 of Gary Amio with Carson Burrows back in 24th. Eddie Rivers rolls off 25th. Richard Leclerc back in 26th. Cameron King from the 27th spot. Mark Dumont back in 28th. Jeffrey Engel 29th. Orlando Harrell back in 30th. And rounding out the field tonight is the 55 of Ricky Hudges II. Kevin Brown says, good luck, everyone. Sit back and enjoy. And Tyler Millette says, good luck, Loud Pedal Racing. Loud Pedal and Elite Southern teams from the 94. And one thing you'll notice about this racetrack as well is, even though it's a sister track to Michigan Raceway, this track has a lot of character. You're going to see these cars bouncing around a lot going down the backstretch. That can cause some issues for some of these drivers here tonight as well. So watch for these cars to bounce off each other as they deal with the bumps down the backstretch here tonight. As the pace car takes the hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. Jonathan Jennings leads them down to the starting zone. Green flag is in the air. We are racing here at Auto Club Speedway. And Chris Leftwich down on that low side, getting a great jump here on the start. I hope he didn't jump the start. Get himself in a little bit of trouble here. As we see the field already starting to spread out down the backstretch, some blocks being thrown. You see those cars bouncing around as they make their way towards turn number 3, and Jonathan Jennings sneaks back up into the lead as the field comes off of turn number 4, and we see Hunter Simpson in that 5 machine right there on the back bumper of Chris Leftwich trying to find a way by, and it's what these drivers are going to be doing while these tires are fresh. They're going to be making hay while the sun shines, as we've got 3 wide back here with Chris Jennings down on the low side, the 63 of Gary Maydew in the middle, Baker Knapp way up on the high side. As you see, more 3 wide racing as the 76 of Lucas Edwards gets a twofer up on the high side, coming down the backstretch towards turn number 3. Hunter Simpson right there on the back bumper of Chris Leftwich, trying to find a way around that 13 machine. And here comes Lucas Edwards up on that high side, trying to move himself up into the top 3. Again, we see drivers all over the racetrack, especially way back in the back here. We see them all spread out through the corner. They're going to get single file most of the way, mostly single file as they come down the backstretch. Though we see a couple drivers run 2 wide. Justin McMahon already making up some ground here, trying to get back up towards the front. We know he had some speed in practice. So we have a gaggle of cars up front in a battle for the lead as Jonathan Jennings is being challenged by Chris Leftwich on the outside. Lucas Edwards right here in the mix as well, trying to follow Chris Leftwich right on by that 91 machine. And Hunter Simpson holding tight on that high side as well. Really, nobody's really running away with this one. We see John Smith back in the 5th spot as they go 3 wide behind him. Chuck Cobb on the high side. Ooh, one driver gets really loose. That's Gary Maydew. Lost control for a second. Lost all his momentum. And you're seeing the cars going by on the inside and the outside as he regains control of that machine. Tries to get back into the gas the right way. And he's going to lose quite a few positions, falling all the way back into the 9th position. Again, a lot of 3-wide racing here so far tonight, but clean 3-wide racing. As we work lap number 5. No real cause for incident just yet, but lots of great racing as we take a look here from the iRacing blimp. New leader. Missed the pass for the lead. That's the 76 of Lucas Edwards now out in front. Here's the pass for the lead as Lucas Edwards was able to push Chris Leftwich right down into the corner, makes the move to the inside, coming off of turn number 2, and takes the lead away. So a great move from Lucas Edwards, who's now out in that clean air and starting to pull away as they are 3 wide behind. Chris Leftwich down on the bottom. Jonathan Jennings was in the middle. We saw the 6 of Chris Jennings up on the high side. Ooh, almost some contact there between Chris Jennings and the 5 of Hunter Simpson. They're able to keep off of each other and keep it going straight as Gary Maydew is now back up into the 5th position after falling all the way back to 9th. And Lucas Edwards has now stretched his lead out to just over a second. And great look from the blimp at this battle up front as Gary Maydew drives it down hard into turn number 3. But that high lane has a little bit of momentum coming off the corner. And you're seeing that as Hunter Simpson's able to fight back on that high side. A little further back in the field, we see some more 3-wide racing. Mike Hayes down on the bottom. Andrew Lucas in the middle. And Christopher Simon up on the high side. Great racing all over the racetrack. More 3-wide racing up at the front. As Gary Maydew has now got himself up into the 3rd position. He's looking down to the inside of Chris Leftwich as they come down to the start finish. Oh, wreck in the back here. Kevin Brown is around. Wow, everybody was able to miss him. That was incredible. And that is going to bring up our first wreckage rewind of the night. See, Chuck Cobb and Kevin Brown right here. They were 3-wide. Cobb comes down the racetrack a little bit. Don't think he knew that Kevin Brown was right there as they get into the outside wall. And then look at this. What a great move by the 58 there to get around. So that is going to catch the field up here. I'm going to go back to the record rewind for a second. I want to check some graphical settings here because something just did not look right there. Yeah, we're going to go back and look at this save here again. Saw the yeah, what a move here from the 58 of Nick Shell. As you'll see, here comes Brown back across the track, and Shell is able to get down into the grass and avoid making contact. So a bunch of drivers coming down pit road. Chris Leftwich, Mike Hayes, Baker Knapp, Chris Jennings, Jonathan Jennings. No, I'm sorry, Jonathan Jennings stayed out. Steve Gerber came down pit road. Jim Willis, Orlando Harrell. Staying out on the track, though, Lucas Edwards, who was your leader. Jonathan Jennings. Hunter Simpson, John Smith, and Jeffrey Engel all staying out onto the racetrack. Lindsey Engel says good luck to Lucas Edwards and Jeffrey Engel. Here's another look at that incident here. We're going to look at it here from the 56 machine. That's just how close it was. What a great piece of heads-up driving there from Nick Shell. As they come across the stripe this time, I do believe the lights will be shutting off on the pace car. And we'll be re-racking them, restacking them, and going back green flag racing. So Lucas Edwards going to restart here on the bottom. Jonathan Jennings up on top. Hunter Simpson and John Smith in row number 2. Jeffrey Engel and Chris Leftwich back in row number 3. And Chris Leftwich, Mike Hayes, looks like they took 2 tires only, along with Ty Schoening back in the 10th position, also on 2 tires. Everybody else came down and took 4. So it'll be interesting to see how 2 tires work as opposed to 4 tires. As the field makes their way through turn number 3 and 4, pace car takes the hard left-hand turn down on the pit road. Lucas Edwards leads them back down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air, and we are back racing. And a great jump there for Lucas Edwards as he makes his way down the front stretch towards turn number 1. Great view from the iRacing blimp. Oh, we got one around in the back. That is the 63 of Maydew. Oh, this is going to stack up the entire field. Big one. Parts are flying everywhere. Oh, Nick Shell, who had that great save or great avoidance in the first one, gets caught up in that one. That's going to bring up another Wreckage Rewind. Starts with the 63 of Maydew. Gets a little loose there. Comes down into Chad Waller. Chris Jennings just barely able to avoid that one. And when we're all stacked up on the restarts, see Steve Gerber just nowhere to go. He gets a piece of it. Comes back up across the track. There's the 421. Getting a big chunk of it. And then from there, just all heck breaks loose. You see the 50 of Bonomo caught up in this. I'm sorry. The 50 of Michael Dow caught up in this. 92 of Cameron King. Christopher Simon looks like he's going to barely be able to sneak through here, along with Justin McMahon. Able to sneak on through. Doesn't look like he has any damage, but man. Not a fun place to be as we take a look here at real speed from Justin McMahon's view. Does a great job of avoiding it. Here's a look from what Gary Maydew saw. Everyone just nowheres to go. And another view here from Orlando Harrell. See what I mean? Just happened so fast, nowheres to go. Once the track blocks up here, it's just all on from there. See Kevin Brown able to get slowed down to get through it. But a tough break for a lot of good cars getting torn up in the back there. As the field gets ready to get re-racked, restacked, and refired. Again, don't forget the Doghouse Racing League does not run resets, so any damage that they accrue here in the incident, they are going to have to get fixed up, or are going to have to park it for the night. If they can't get the vehicles fixed up in time, they're going to have to retire. Unfortunately, it looks like quite a few drivers out there might have to retire here tonight. We see Justin McMahon on pit road. Looks like he was just coming down to top off. But Nick Schell, Orlando Harrell, Cameron King was involved in that one. Gary Maydew is still on pit road. Gary Amio on pit road. Eddie Rivers, Mark Dumont, Chuck Cobb. All drivers involved. Hoping that they'll have better luck next week. But here we go. Coming to lap number 18. Pace car dives back down onto pit road. Lucas Edwards brings them down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing here at Auto Club Speedway as the field makes their way down towards turn number 1, and a great view of just how much these cars spread out on these restarts. Excuse me. Oh, one car up into the wall. That's Chris Jennings. Makes a little bit of contact there. It looked like the 14 of Jeffrey Engel. Everybody's able to keep going. I don't know how much damage Jennings got off that one, as he fell back quite a bit. We'll see when he comes by this time how that car looks. We see that right side pushed in just a little bit. That's might actually hurt the aerodynamics of that car. Meanwhile, up front, Jonathan Jennings trying to take the lead away from Lucas Edwards as they come off of turn number 2. Here comes Hunter Simpson up into the mix here as well, as Edwards is going to try a little crossover here coming down the backstretch into turn number 3. Edwards pulls a little bit of a slide job here up. Well, I thought he was going to pull a little slide job there up in front of Jennings. Going to stay down on the low side and throw a little bit of a defensive move, as Hunter Simpson really sure who to go with. Drafting does come into play here. Not quite like Daytona or Talladega, but you can get right onto somebody's back bumper, push them forward, and move yourselves around. Side draft will come into play here as well, as John Smith loses a position here to Chris Leftwich. Back up front, Jonathan Jennings, Lucas Edwards, and Hunter Simpson, all 3 drivers under a blanket, followed closely by the 99 John Smith and the 13 of Chris Leftwich, your top 5. Oh, Edwards gets a little contact there. Gets run up the track, and now he's going to fall all the way back into the 6th position. As now Chris Leftwich making a move down underneath the 91 of Jonathan Jennings. Don't look now. Here comes Mike Hayes into the mix as well. Haven't really said much about Hayes yet tonight. Finds himself up in the top 5, trying to battle for the top spot. Well, that's all going on. More battling back here as we see the 202 of Jim Willis working his way through the middle. There's Christopher Simon and Kevin Brown. Kevin Brown involved in an early incident. Looks like he's got that car fixed back up. John Smith, Lucas Edwards battling it out now for the 5th position, and up at the front, Jonathan Jennings and Chris Leftwich and Mike Hayes now battling for that top spot as well. Three wide for the lead. Chris Leftwich up on the high side. Mike Hayes in the middle. Jonathan Jennings on the bottom. 3 cars battling for that top spot. Now Chris Leftwich is going to slide out in front of Jonathan Jennings. He's going to pull Mike Hayes along with him and move Leftwich up to the point, as Leftwich gets under attack now by the 22 of Mike Hayes. Hayes looking back down to the inside of Jonathan Jennings. And now he's going to move himself up into the 2nd position. He's going to try to find a way towards the 13 of Chris Leftwich. Meanwhile, a little further back, more battling going on. You see the 55 of Ricky Hudges trying to work his way back up towards the front. Actually, not back towards the front. He started dead last in the field. He's our biggest mover, up 18 positions up into 13th. Another big mover here is the 47 of Ty Shoney, who is now up into the top 10. Up 11 spots from where he started. Another big mover, Andrew Lucas. I apologize. Andrew Lucas in the 77 here finds himself in the 6th position, up 12 spots from where he started. And trying to get another spot away from John Smith. And Lucas Edwards on those older tires, you can see just how much they're hurting him as he continues to slide back, as Baker Knapp now trying to run down the 76 machine. Meanwhile, up front, Chris Leftwich starting to pull away a little bit as Jonathan Jennings and Mike Hayes do battle side by side, with Hunter Simpson waiting in the wings trying to make something happen, and Andrew Lucas right behind as well. We see Hunter giving a shove to Jonathan Jennings down the front stretch and into turn number 1. And we are just about to the halfway point. Why don't we do a little thing I like to call pump up the intensity.